I think we'll start because I have a meeting again at 5 o'clock. So let's not more time. I think we have completed with all the questions of two machine problems, right? The other day. Are you all clear with those problems? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
today we'll start with the second method, which is processing n jobs through 3 machines. N jobs to 3 machines. So this is the next method that we are going to solve today. Okay? Yeah. So before we start understanding what exactly this method is all about, let me tell you what are the prerequisites for this particular problem. Unlike two machine problem, we don't have a separate mechanism to identify the sequence or the order in which the job has to be processed. So therefore, whenever you have a problem on 3 machine problem, the only way we can solve this problem is you are supposed to convert a 3 machine problem into 2 machine problem. Are you understanding the concept here? You are supposed to convert a 3 machine problem to 2 machine problem, and once it is successfully converted to 2 machine problem, then we can solve the problem by regular method. So we don't have a separate mechanism or a method to solve 3 machine problem. Now the next point is it that the entire 3 machine problem becomes 2 machine and the 3 machine becomes completely null and void? No. The process of converting 3 machine into 2 machine is only for one particular purpose. Now what is that purpose? For applying Johnson's rule. Because the Johnson's rule cannot be applied if the number of machines are more than 2. Please remember this concept very clearly. The Johnson's rule cannot be applied if the number of machines are more than 2. Therefore, in order to ensure that the Johnson rule become applicable, we are going to convert a 3 machine problem to 2 machine problem only for applying Johnson's rule. Okay, so once the Johnson's rule is successfully implemented, then we can solve the problem for calculating the idle time, elapsed time by the regular method. Alright, so the application of converting a 3 machine problem to 2 machine problem is confined only for applying Johnson's rule. Beyond that, this 2 machine will absolutely have no relevance. That is basically what you're supposed to understand here. Okay. And second important aspect here is all the questions which are 3 machine problem based cannot be solved unless certain conditions are satisfied. That means there are certain prerequisites. Only once these prerequisites are satisfied, you are allowed to convert a 3 machine problem to 2 machine problem. If these conditions are not satisfied, then the problem does not have a solution. So please remember this thing very clearly. Before we convert a 3 machine problem to 2 machine problem, you are supposed to verify whether these conditions are satisfied or not. Now, what are the conditions? I'll just write it. Please look at the board quickly. Minimum of A should be greater than or equal to the maximum of B. Minimum of A should be greater than or equal to maximum of B, and similarly, minimum of C should be greater than or equal to maximum of B. Okay? You are supposed to verify either of these conditions. Either minimum of A, the minimum processing time of machine A should be greater than or equal to the maximum processing time of machine B. Similarly, the minimum processing time of machine C should be greater than or equal to the maximum processing time of machine B. Or either this or this. Any one condition satisfied, then we can convert the problem into 2 machine problem. Are you understanding clearly? You are supposed to verify this condition before we convert the problem into 2 machine problem. Unless this condition is verified and satisfied, we are not supposed to convert a 3 machine problem to 2 machine problem. Is everybody clear with this step? Everybody understood how do we check the prerequisites of sequencing? Have you all understood this step? Okay. Now this is the condition. I want everyone to please clearly make a note of it. This is the condition which needs to be verified. This is minimum. Minimum of A should be greater than or equal to maximum of B, and similarly minimum of C should be greater than or equal to maximum of B. If one of these conditions are satisfied, then we can convert this into two machine problem. Now, how do we replace this three machine into two machine? For that, we are introducing two fictitious machines. Now, what do you mean by fictitious machines? The machines which are imaginary. They don't physically exist. Only for the purpose of calculation, we are creating an artificial or a fictitious machine. Those fictitious machines are called as machine G and machine H. Are you understanding? We are converting a three machine problem into two machine problem by introducing two fictitious machines called machine G and machine H. Okay. Now, how do we find the values of machine G and how do we find the value of machine H? That's the next question. So, machine G is nothing but machine A plus machine B. When you add the corresponding values of machine A and machine B, that will give you the values for machine G. Similarly, machine H is equals to machine B plus machine C. Okay, so G is equals to A plus B is the first value and H is equals to B plus B is the second machine. So by converting three machine, now you are able to get two fictitious machines called G and H. So G is nothing but A plus B and H is nothing but B plus B. So these are the conditions you have to remember before we convert a three machine problem to two machine. So this is the overall theoretical background that you need to understand as far as three machine problem is concerned. Once you are clear with this, then I'll try to explain this entire concept by taking a question. Okay, have you all understood clearly what are the prerequisites and how do we convert and what exactly the prerequisites are? Any questions or any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay, yeah, then I think we can start with the question now. Okay, I hope everybody has made a note of it because this is a very important step. Everyone please make a note of it. Shall I write this? You're done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me take a question. I'll read the question. The question goes like this. There are three machines A, B, and C, and totally 6 jobs have to be processed on these machines. Calculate the idle time of machine A, machine B, and machine C, and also the total elapsed time. This is a typical way of asking questions. If all these questions are not asked in detail, despite of that, you are supposed to calculate 4 things. You are supposed to calculate idle time for A, idle time for B, idle time for C, and finally the total elapsed time. So these are the minimum calculations you have to do as far as three machine problem is concerned. Again, even in three machine problem also, they might give you a specific order in which the machines have to be processed. I think if you remember, in two machine problem, I was giving the example. If nothing is mentioned in the question paper, then it becomes clear that the machines have to be processed in the order A, B. Or no order specify madilla andre, it will go in the order A, B. Otherwise, you are supposed to follow whichever order is given in the question paper. I think we have solved a couple of problems on BA. As far as two machines are concerned, erade possibility barutte. One do it can be AB and other could be BA. But as far as three machines are concerned, I think there are three different ways. ABC, ACB, and CAB and ACB. Right? I think three different possibilities are there. So whichever order is given to you, in that particular order, the problem has to be solved. Or otherwise, it is clear or it can be assumed that it is in the order ABC. Our ಏನು mention ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ question paper ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it means the order is ABC. Otherwise, whichever order they have given in the question paper, that order has to be followed. Okay, so let me take the question now. The question goes like this. So jobs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 Now that we have machine A, machine B, and machine C. So 3, 8, and 13, 12, 6, 14, 5, 4, 9, 2, 6, 12, 9, 3, 8, and last one is 11, 1, and 13. Now this is the question, or this is the data given to you. Now we are supposed to solve this problem and calculate all the 4 values. Which are the 4 values we are calculating here? Idle time for machine A, idle time for machine B, idle time for machine C, and finally the total elapsed time. As you all remember, before we convert a 3 machine problem into 2 machine problem, there are certain conditions to be satisfied. We usually call it as the pre-requirements or prerequisites. Only when these prerequisites are satisfied, we can solve the problem or we can convert it to 2 machines. Now, what are the prerequisites? I hope you all remember this. It says minimum of A should be greater than or equal to maximum of B, or minimum of C should be greater than or equal to maximum of B. You are supposed to verify at least one of these conditions should be satisfied. All conditions need not be satisfied. In 4 conditions, there are totally 4 conditions here. Greater or equal, greater or equal. So totally there are 4 possibilities. If any one condition is satisfied, the problem is good to go. Okay? Need not be all conditions to be satisfied. Even if one condition is satisfied, you can go and convert it to 2 machine problem. Okay. Now, let me write on the values now. Now, what is the minimum A value? Just go to machine A and identify the minimum time. So, which is the minimum time here? Obviously, the minimum time is 2. So, the lowest value or minimum value is 2. So, this is 2. And similarly, find the maximum value of B. Go to machine B and see which is the highest value. The highest value in machine B is 8. Okay? Similarly, find the value of minimum C. What is minimum C value? The minimum C value is 9. Okay? Now, can you please tell me with all this value whether the condition is satisfied or not satisfied? Please look at this equation and tell me whether the condition is satisfied or not.
Satisfied, sir. The first condition is good.
Really? Minimum of A should be greater than or equal to maximum of B. 2 is neither greater nor equal to 8. The first condition is not satisfied, right?
Second is satisfied.
First is not satisfied. See, look at the equation clearly. Minimum of A should be greater than or equal to maximum of B. What is the minimum A value? 2. And what is maximum B value? 8. So 2 is neither equal to 8 nor 2 is greater than 8. That means the first condition is clearly not satisfied. First condition is completely gone. Look at the second condition. What is the second condition? Minimum of C should be greater than or equal to maximum of B. What is the minimum C value? 9. Definitely 9
So
is
minimum,
greater than 8. Yeah.
excuse me, sir, minimum of C value is, I think, 8.
Yeah, sorry, I took wrongly. The minimum C is 8. Yeah. The minimum C value is 8. So you can see that minimum of C should be greater than or equal to. You can see that 8 is equals to 8. Are you getting the point now? You can see that the minimum C value is 8 and the maximum B value also is 8. Since 8 is equal to 8, the second condition is satisfied. And therefore, now we can convert this 3 machine problems to 2 machine problem. So if 4 conditions at least one condition should be satisfied. Only if one of these conditions are satisfied, you are free to convert it to 2 machine problem. Is everybody clear with this particular method now? Any doubts?
No, sir.
All clear? And please remember
Yes, sir.
these equations clearly. Most of the people make mistake in symbols. Symbols bariವಾಗ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಮತ್ತೆ values ನೋಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ you get confused. Minimum ಯಾವುದು maximum confuse ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತೀರಾ. So please don't have any confusion that. So in both the equations it is greater. Please remember that. So out of 4 possibility, at least one condition should be satisfied to convert. Okay, I think now the condition is satisfied, no problem. Now we will move on to the next process, which is converting 3 machine into 2 machine. Now how do we convert it? We convert a 3 machine problem to 2 machine problem by introducing 2 fictitious machines. What do you mean by fictitious machines? The machines which are imaginary. They actually don't physically exist. We are assuming those machines for the purpose of calculation. Okay, so I am introducing 2 fictitious machines here. The 2 fictitious machines are, one is machine G and other one is machine H. The machine G is nothing but A plus B. By adding the processing time of machine A and machine B, we will get G. Similarly, and what is machine H? By adding B plus C. By adding the processing time of B and C, we will get the machine H. Now, I am supposed to introduce 2 new set of values called G and H by doing these calculations. Okay, so let me do the calculations. So I am introducing 2 machines now. Now this is machine G and this is machine H and this is jobs. So how many jobs are there here? As usual, we can look at the main problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 6 jobs are there. Now I am supposed to introduce 2 machines G and H. If you look at the board, G is nothing but A plus B. Now A is nothing but D set of values and B is nothing but D set of values. So when I am saying G is equals to A plus B, you are supposed to add the corresponding values of A and B. Okay, how do we add the corresponding values? Please look at the board. So G is equal to A plus B, that is machine A and machine B to be added. 8 plus 3, 6 plus 12, 4 plus 5, 6 plus 2, 9 plus 3 and 11 plus 1. This is how we add. Okay, when I am saying that I am supposed to introduce 2 values G and Z, we are supposed to add the corresponding values from their corresponding processing types. Okay, so let me write down the values now. For job number 1, 8 plus 3, so it becomes 11. 12 plus 6, it becomes 18. Third value is 5 plus 4, it becomes 9. Then 6 plus 2, it becomes 8. 9 plus 3, it becomes 11. And finally, 11 plus 1, it becomes 12. Now these are the values we have got as far as machine G is concerned. On the same lines, I am calculate the values of machine H. Now what is the machine H formula? B plus C. That is, machine B and machine C should be added, and then I am supposed to write the values of H. Okay, so let's start doing it now. So 13 plus 8, it becomes 21. 14 plus 6, it becomes 20. 9 plus 4, it becomes 13. 12 plus 6, it becomes 18. 8 plus 3, it becomes 11. And 13 plus 1, it becomes 14. Okay, now you can see that all the values of G and H is obtained. Now the problem is good to go for Johnson's rule. As I told you in the beginning, the most important limitations of the Johnson's rule is, in Johnson's rule, if the number of machines are more than 2, we cannot do sequencing. So therefore, in order to make Johnson's rule applicable, we have converted it to 2 machine problem. Now the problem is ready for sequencing. Now the same procedure we are going to apply what we did for 2 machine problem and do the sequencing. Okay, so let's
So
do the
in
sequencing.
job 5, the job 5,
Yeah,
it's 12, sir.
which one?
Job 5 in
Yeah.
machine G.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Please correct me in case if I made any calculation error somewhere. Yeah. Now it's correct, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's start with the sequencing. So same procedure by Johnson's rule. By Johnson's rule. Okay. You can see that say total 6 boxes have to be taken. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. As usual, same procedure. Can you please tell me how exactly the Johnson's rule is applicable? Can anybody please tell me what is the procedure to be followed in Johnson's rule? Yeah? Can anybody please tell me about the Johnson's rule? We have solved many problems on Johnson's rule, right? How do we
So we
start
have
the
to see the lowest processing time. If it is
Okay.
in the machine G or A, the first machine, then we
Yeah.
start allotting from the left. If it is
Very
in the
good.
machine H, then from the right.
Excellent. Okay, same procedure. Now, if you look at this entire question, that is G and H, which is the lowest processing time here?
11.
Lowest, please look at the board clearly. Don't look
Eight,
at it.
sir.
8.
8,
8,
sir.
sir.
8 is the lowest value, and you can see that 8 happens to be on machine A. This is machine A and G and that's all. Okay. So this is machine A and this is machine B anyway. Since it is on machine G, it has to be assigned from left side. Okay. So which is the first job to be assigned? Job number 4. So job number 4 has to be assigned. Okay. Yeah. Now in the remaining matters, can you please tell me which is the next value?
9.
9. Okay, 9 is the lowest value. Again, 9 you can find it on machine G. Therefore, again from the left side. So this becomes J3. So this is also gone. Okay. Next, in the next value, which is the next lowest value?
11.
11. But you can see that 11 is repeated twice. But fortunately, both the values happen to be on different machines. I think I've told you yesterday very clearly. If the lowest processing time happens to be on the same machines, then I'm supposed to compare their corresponding value. If they are on different machines, then no need to compare. We can directly assign the values. You can see that job number 1 and job number 5 both have got 11, but they are on different machines. So I can directly take it. First, let me take this. So this becomes job 1 because it's on machine G, and this is on machine B. Therefore, I can take it here. So this becomes job 5. So this 1 is also gone and 5 is also gone. Okay. Now can you please tell me which is the next lowest value?
12.
12, sir.
12. So 12 you can see that 12 again happens to be a machine G, and therefore I'm supposed to take here. So this becomes J6. Okay. This is gone. And finally the last value is there. I can directly take it. Now this becomes G2. Okay. Now with the help of Johnson's rule, I have got the values. The sequencing is ready, or the way the jobs have to be processed is ready. So 4, 3, 1, 6, 2, and 5. Okay. Now the way we converted, or the process we converted from 3 machine problem to 2 machine problem ceased to exist now. ನಾವು ಯಾಕೆ 3 machine ಇಂದ 2 machine convert ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ only to apply Johnson's rule, only to get the sequence. The moment the sequence is obtained, this value is null and void. ಇದು ಇನ್ನೇನಕ್ಕೂ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಬರಲ್ಲ. We are not going to use this value any further. It has lost its relevance. Right? So this data is relevant only up to we calculate the Johnson's rule. The Johnson's rule calculate ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ this data has no significance in the entire question. We have to go back to the original data. So all your calculations have to be based on the original data. Only for applying Johnson's rule, we have converted to 2 machine problem. Beyond that, this 2 fictitious value G and H has no relevance in the problem. Okay, have you all understood till this step, everybody? Is it clear to all of you? Any questions?
sir.
Any doubts? Okay. Yeah. So in that case, I think I'll just wipe this part because I don't have space here. I'll try to solve the problem. One of you please make a note of this order. Order no note ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, and you please tell me once I wipe it. Okay, please make a note of the order because I have to write on the table again. Please make a note of this order. Okay, so shall I wipe it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me start with the last part of the problem, which is about calculations of the ideal types. As usual, the same template we follow here as well. The first is the job. Can one of you please tell me the order now? Which is the order?
4,
Okay.
3,
Mm-hmm.
1,
Mm-hmm.
6,
Mm-hmm.
2,
Okay.
5.
Okay, this is the order in which we are supposed to process. Okay, then we have three columns now. Machine A, two values comes here in and out. Similarly, machine B, two values comes in and out. Okay, and third one is machine C. Again, we have two values in and out. Okay, and finally, we have two things here: idle time for A, idle time for B, and idle time for C. So these are the three values to be calculated with respect to this. Okay, yeah. Now let's start doing the calculations now. Okay. As usual, whatever procedure that we followed in two machine problem, the same procedures are applied in three machine problem as well. The only difference here is instead of two machines, there are three machines. Otherwise, the way we calculate the value, the way we apply the no passing rule, everything exactly same. Absolutely no difference. Okay. So if you remember, in two machine problem, I did mention that always the first job shall be started at 0 minute. Do you all remember this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the same procedure is applied here as well. So whichever is the first job, whichever, it can be any job, whichever is the first job, we always start with 0. And then we do the calculations remaining. Okay? If you look at this three machine problem, I want to make it very clear to you. Machine A is independent, whereas machine B and machine C are dependent. Now, what is the relationship here? Machine A is completely independent. Machine B is dependent on A, and machine C is dependent on B. This is how the relationship is established. I'll repeat it once again. Please remember, machine A is completely independent. Machine B is dependent on machine A. Machine C is dependent on machine B. So this is how the relationships are established. So you have to remember this when you are doing the calculations of time and other things. Okay. Now let's start with the calculation. I want everyone to please look at the data and then keep telling me the answers now. Now, first is job number 4. So job number 4 starts at 0. And what is the processing time taken by machine A? Can you please tell me the values now quickly? What time it will come out?
2, sir.
2.
Because 0 plus 2 is equal to 2. Okay? And as I said, machine B is dependent on machine A. The machine B can start the job only once the machine A has completed the job. Alivarga I cannot start with B. Correct? So I have to start only at 2. Okay? So tell me what time it comes out?
8.
8.
8.
It comes out at 8. Very good. Now I'm saying that machine C is dependent on machine B. That means machine C can start the job only once the machine B is completed. That means I can only start at 8 minute or 8 hour. Okay? And what time it comes out now?
20, sir.
20.
20.
Because 12 is the total time, 8 plus 12 it becomes 20. Okay, now let's calculate the idle times. For machines A, there is no idle time because it started at 0. For machine B, the idle time is 2
2.
because it started at second minute. And for machine C, the idle time is 8 because it started at the 8th minute. Okay, very simple. Right? Now we'll move on to the second job, that is job number 3. Now can you tell me
Ravi,
Is the video stuck for everyone?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
ರವಿ ಸರ್ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಾ ಹೆಂಗೆ?
ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿರು ನಿಮಿಷ ನಾನು ಸರ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಓಕೆ ಬ್ರೋ.
So can you hear me now? Can you see the board, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, there was a power cut, so it got disconnected. Yeah. I think we'll continue now. So I think we have completed the first job, that is job number 4. Now we'll move on to the job number 3. Okay. So in job number 3, can you please tell me what time the machine A should start the job?
2, sir.
2. Yeah. Why? Because machine A is completely independent. Machine A need not wait for B and C to complete. As soon as the machine A has completed the previous job, it can take up the next job. Therefore, it starts at 2. Okay. And what time it will end now?
7.
7. Okay. 7. Now, can you tell me at what time the machine B should start job number 3? Can I
8,
start?
sir.
8.
8.
8.
No, I cannot start at 7 because still the previous job is yet to complete in job number 4. It is still going on up to 8th minute. Therefore, I can only start at 8. Okay? Yeah. So, what time it completes now? Job number 3?
12, sir.
12.
Very
12.
good. Okay. Now, what time I'm supposed to start here?
20.
20.
20. Even though the job is completed earlier in machine B, I cannot start because still the previous job is going on. So therefore, I have to start at 20. Okay. So what time it completes?
29.
29.
29. Okay. Now, can you please tell me the idle time? I think I've told you yesterday simple procedure to calculate idle time. The previous job out, next job in. The difference is called as idle time. So 2 minus 2, 0. 8 minus 8, 0. 20 minus 20, 0. So no idle time for all the 3 machines. Okay? Yeah. Now can you please tell me for the job number 1? Tell me the time. What time it
7.
starts?
7.
7. Okay. What time it ends?
10.
10.
10. Okay. Here what time it starts?
12.
12.
What?
Obviously the previous job. Very important. 12. Okay. What time it ends?
20.
20.
20.
Here what time it should start now?
29.
20. Very good. Okay. What time it ends?
42.
42. Very good. So now can you please tell me the idle times now? 7 minus 7, 0. 12 minus 12, 0. 29 minus 29, 0. So no idle times. Okay. Now we'll go on to the job number 6. Can you please tell me for the job number 6 what time it starts?
10.
10.
10.
11, sir.
So,
11, sir.
sorry?
11, sir.
Now what time it comes out?
Starts at 11.
Why? It is processing time. It is not the starting time. It is processing time. Don't get confused. Your starting
Okay,
time
sir.
when it completes.
21, sir.
Yeah. Okay. 10 plus 11. It becomes 21. Okay. Yeah. Now what time it starts in B?
21.
21.
21. Okay. And what time it completes?
22.
22. Okay. Here what time it starts?
22.
42.
22. And what time it ends?
55.
55. Okay. Yeah. So here can you tell me the idle time now? It is 0 here.
0.
And
1.
this is 1, because you can see the
One.
previous job is completed at 20 and the next job started at 21. Therefore, the idle time is 1. Okay. And here it is 42 minus 42, 0. Okay. Now we'll come back to the job number 2. Okay. Can you please?
Sir, your voice is
21.
breaking.
You're able to hear me now?
No.
Yes, sir.
Now it's clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
now it's
sir.
clear.
Yeah. So can you please tell me what time it starts now, job number 2?
21.
21.
21. Okay. And what time it completes?
33.
33.
33. Okay. Coming to machine B, what time the machine B starts now?
33.
33.
Okay. And what time it completes?
39.
39. Okay. And here job number machine C, what time it starts?
55.
55.
Very good. And what time it completes?
69.
69. Okay. Now can you please tell me the idle times now? Idle time for machine A is nothing, 0. Idle time for machine B, how much it comes
11.
to? 11.
11.
And again it is 0 again.
0.
Okay. Now we'll come back to the last job, which is job number 5. Okay. What time job number 5 starts? It starts at
33.
Okay. So can you tell me what time it comes out?
44.
42.
40?
Sorry.
42.
42.
42, sir.
Okay. Yeah. And here what time it starts? It starts at
42.
42. And what time it completes?
45.
45. Okay. Here it starts at 69.
69.
And what time it completes? 72. It completes at 72.
70.
So there is no idle time here.
77, sir.
77, sir.
Machine C, last value, sir.
Yeah.
Out value, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I saw this 13. It is job number 5, right? So 69 plus 8 is how much we get? 70.
77.
I saw job number 6. So 30, 77. So 39 and 43. And here it is 0. Now we have got the entire table ready. Once the entire table is ready, now we are supposed to do the final calculations, which are the 4 things. I want everyone to please make a note of this formula clearly so that you will have no confusion. The first one is, as usual, you are supposed to calculate T value. Now, what do you mean by T value? T is nothing but total elapsed time. Total elapsed time. Now, what is the meaning of total elapsed time? The time at which the last job on the last machine is completed. That is the meaning of T. I'll repeat once again. The time at which the last job on the last machine is completed is called as total elapsed time. Here the last job is 5 and the last machine is C. So what time it is completing? It is completed at 77. So therefore the value of T is equal to 77. That's the first answer. Okay. Now we need to calculate the other 3 values. Which are the other 3 values? First is idle time for machine A. Okay. What is the formula for the idle time for machine A? Very simple. The time at which the last job on machine C completed. Okay. The time at which the last job on machine C completed minus the time at which the last job on machine A completed. And then it is nothing but C minus A. The time at which the last job on the machine C completed minus the time at which the last job on machine A completed. Either difference covered. Okay. So if you take this difference, how much we get now? So how much we get?
35.
So this is nothing but 77 minus 42, which is nothing but is for that
35.
35. So 35 becomes the idle time for machine A. Okay. Similarly, now let's calculate for machine B. Okay. What is the idle time for machine B? What is the formula? The time at which the last job on machine C completed minus the time at which the last job on machine B completed. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಸಿ ಮೈನಸ್ ಬಿ ಇದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ದಟ್ ಯು ಗಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Okay, this is the first formula, that is the time at which the last job of the machine C completed minus B. This value shall be added with whatever value you got in the table. Can you please tell me table and H value is there? So 14, 15, 15 plus 2, it becomes 17. And this is 8 and this is dash. Okay, so can you tell me the values now? What is C minus B now? 77 minus 45, okay, plus 17. Okay, so what is 77 minus 45? How much we get? 32 plus 17, which is nothing but 49. So 49 becomes your ideal type for machine B. Is that clear, everyone? Artha agidiyalla ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And the last one is the idle time for machine C. Idle time for machine C is no formula. Directly we can write down the values in the table. Okay, for idle time for machine C, we don't have any specific formula. We can directly write down the values in the table. So you can see that the total idle time for machine C is 8. So directly we can write that 8. That is the answer. Okay, so this is how we solve the problem for 3 machine category. Is everybody clear with the basic steps and what are the concepts and points that we discussed here? Did you get a complete, a holistic view about this particular concept, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Idralli, what are the complications they can do? Enen complication ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ first and foremost thing is they might give repeated values in the processing time. That is one thing that they might do, which we already understood. How do we address or deal with repeated value? That is one possibility. Second possibility in ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ they might give different orders. Instead of giving the order ABC, they might give BAC or BC or some order they might give you. Accordingly, we have to do the calculations, and even the formula also will change according to the order. That is very, very important. Last in a way formula ತಗೊಂಡಿದೀವಲ್ಲ, these formulas will change according to the order of the problem. If it is ABC, then this is the formula. If it is BSC, the formula change. It all depends on the position. The position of matrix matter, even the formula also gets slightly modified. I think we have done this concept in 2 machine also. BA ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಹೇಗೆ ನಮಗೆ idle time of A and B change ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, in the similar lines, even in other order, these formulas might change. Anyway, I'll take up those questions, then you'll probably understand. Okay, so this is the overall view as far as 3 machine problems is concerned. So before we convert any 3 machine problem to 2 machine problem, please remember those 2 important conditions. Only upon satisfying that condition, you are supposed to convert it to 2 machines. And the purpose of converting a 3 machine problem to 2 machine problem is only for one thing. What is the purpose we calculate or we convert here? Only to make sure that the Johnson's rule is applicable. So Johnson's rule apply madlikkoskara ashte we actually use that particular concept. Otherwise, beyond that, there is absolutely no other purpose. The once the Johnson's rule is satisfied, or once that particular sequencing is completed, then we will go back to our original data. We are not going to use that fictitious values any further. Only for applying the Johnson's rule, those fictitious data is important to me. And after that, the entire data set will lose its relevance. Okay, is that clear with all of you? Have you all understood the concept clearly now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So shall we
Yes,
solve
sir.
one more problem quickly and we'll finish the class for the day? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, one last question we'll do it. So then you will have clarity about the whole concept, and then we will move on to the next method. Okay, let me take this question. So the given jobs, there are three machines, machine A, B, and C, and the jobs are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 10, 6, 8, 8, 4, 7, 12, 6, 5, 6, 5, 9, 9, 3, 10, 11, 4, 6, 9, 2, and 1. Okay, this is the data given. Okay, if you all remember, what is the first step that we are supposed to do in a 3-machine problem? Can one of you please tell me quickly? What is the first step we are supposed to do now?
Verify minimum of A should be greater than or equal to maximum of B, or minimum of C is greater than or equal to maximum of B.
Very good. So we are supposed to verify the condition. The conditions are minimum of A should be greater than or equal to maximum of B, or minimum of C should be greater than or equal to maximum of B. Either of these conditions should be satisfied. If you take the first one, that is minimum of A, here if you look at the first machine, the minimum value in machine A is 6. So this is 6. Okay. Then we'll take down the value maximum B. What is the maximum B value? If you look at the maximum B value, the maximum is 6. Okay. Now we'll come back to the minimum C value. The minimum C value happens to be 5. Okay. Now all the three values are okay. Now can you please tell me whether the condition is satisfied or not?
Satisfied, sir.
Yeah,
Satisfied.
because in the very first step you can see that the minimum A is equal to maximum B, because 6 is equal to 6, therefore the condition is satisfied. Only upon satisfying this condition, 4 possibilities only, even if one condition is satisfied, it's good to go. We can go ahead. Okay. Now I am supposed to introduce two fictitious machines called machine G and machine H. Okay, I am supposed to introduce. I hope you all remember the formula. Machine G is nothing but A plus B, and machine H is nothing but B plus C. Okay, so for machine, first we'll write down the jobs here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. Now can you please tell me the values for G quickly? How do we
16.
calculate the value of G? A plus B. That is the corresponding values have to be added. Tell me the first value.
16.
16.
16. Good. Then
12.
8 plus 4, 12. 12 plus 6, 18. 6 plus 5, 11. 9 plus 3, 12. 11 plus 4, 15. And 9 plus 2, 11. Okay. Now similarly, we are supposed to find the values of. Okay. We are supposed to find the values of H. H is nothing but B plus C. So B and C will be added. So 6 plus 8, it comes to
14.
14. 7 plus 11. 6 plus 5, 11. 9 plus 5, 14. And then we have 10 plus 3, 13. 6 plus 4, 10. And finally 5 plus 7. Okay. Now we have got all the values of G and H. So once the G and H are obtained, now we are good to go for applying the Johnson's rule. Okay. Now we can apply Johnson's rule. Okay. Let me write the Johnson's rule table here. Totally there are 7 jobs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 jobs are there. Now we are supposed to assign the jobs. Now can you please tell me which has to be assigned first now? What is the basis for assignment?
7, sir.
Okay. You are supposed to identify the lowest processing time. The lowest processing time is 7, and it happens to be on machine H, machine B. So I am supposed to assign from right side. So then the job number 7. So this is gone. Okay. Now in the remaining value, can we reach the next value?
10.
10.
10. So where again, 10 again happens to be a machine head. Therefore, it is job number 6. Okay. Next.
11.
Sorry.
11, sir.
11.
But 11, you can see that there are 3 levels. 2 11 on the same machine and 1 11 on the other machine. I've told you very clearly, if the lowest processing time happens to be on the same machine, only for those values you have to compare the corresponding value. If they are on different machine, then no need to worry. Okay? We will come back to this later. First, we will take up this value because it is on another machine. So, which is this value? Machine G, job number 4. I can take direct. So this becomes job number 4. So this is gone. Now, in the remaining one, you can see both 11 happens to be in the same machine. We are supposed to compare the corresponding value. For this level, the corresponding value is 12. For this level, the corresponding value is 18. So, which is the highest corresponding value here?
3, sir.
18.
18 is the highest corresponding value. Therefore, first I have to assign job number 3. Since it is on machine H, I have to come from the right side. So this will become job number 3. So you can cancel after that. Obviously, this will become the next job. That will become job number 2. So you cancel that. Okay. Now can you tell me which is the next lowest value?
12, sir. Job number
12 is
5.
the lowest value. So it happens to be on machine A or machine B. Therefore, I can take it as job number 5. Okay, this is gone. And finally, the last one you can write as it is. This is J.
Job 1.
Okay, so now the order is ready. So by applying the Johnson rule, the order what we have got is 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7. Okay, now let's quickly find the values. Okay, the jobs, which is 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7. Okay, so machine A in, out. Then machine B in, out. Okay, machine C in, out. Okay, we have 3 things here. Idle time for A, idle time for B, idle time for C. I have directly written ABC. It is nothing but the idle time of ABC. Okay, yeah. So now let's do the calculations now. Yeah, please help me do the calculation of the please. What time we are supposed to start the job number 4?
0.
Okay, it starts at 0. Okay, please look at the board and tell me the values quickly now. So what time the machine A will come out? Will complete the job?
6.
6.
Okay, job number 4 it comes at 6. Okay, here what time I will start? Again, I'm supposed to
11.
start at 6. Okay, and what time it ends? It ends at
11.
11. Okay, so the machine say again starts at 11, and what time it completes?
20.
20.
20,
It ends at
sir.
20. Okay, so now can you please tell me the idle time quickly? For machine A, there is no idle time. For machine B, the idle time is 6, and for machine C, the idle time is
11.
Okay, now let's go back to the second job, job number 5. So job number 5 starts at what time? It starts at 6 because A is independent. Remember this. Okay, it starts at 6. So job number 5 takes 9 minutes. So 9 plus 6 is
15.
15.
Okay, here even though the job is finished early here, but since A is still going on, I'm supposed to start only at 15. Okay. Okay, so what is the time taken by 5? It is taken
18.
18. 18.
Okay. Here again the job is completed early, but still
20.
it's going. Therefore, I have to start at 20. Okay. And what time it ends?
30.
Ends at 30. So 6 minus 6, no idle time. 11 and 15. So therefore the difference is 4. And here there is no difference. Okay. Now we'll come back to job number 1. So job number 1, please tell me what time it starts. It starts at
15.
15.
Okay, what time it completes?
25.
25.
25. Okay.
5.
Here, what time I'm supposed to start?
25.
25.
25 I'm supposed to start, and it ends at 31. Okay. Here, even though it is finished early, I'm supposed to start only at 31. Okay. And what time it
39.
completes?
39.
39. So no idle time. Here the idle time is there 25 and 18. The difference becomes 7. Here the difference becomes 1.
1.
Okay. Now we'll come back to job number 2. Okay. In job number 2, what time it starts?
25.
25. Okay. What time it completes?
33.
30. Here what I'm supposed to start at what time?
33.
So 33 will start. And what time it completes?
37.
37. Okay. Here what time I'm supposed to start?
39.
39. Good. And what time it completes?
46.
Huh? Look at properly.
47.
7, sorry. It is 46. So this is no idle time here. And here the idle time happens to be 2. And here the idle time is 0. Okay. Yeah. Now we'll come back to job number 3. So in job number 3, what time it starts?
33, sir.
Very good. So what time it completes?
45.
45.
Here what time it starts?
45.
45. And what time it completes?
51.
51. Okay. So again here it starts at 51. And what time it completes?
56.
Sorry?
56, sir.
56.
50. Okay. So there is no idle time here. There is an idle time of totally 8 minutes. And here again there is an idle time of 5 minutes. Okay. So this is the values we have got. Now we'll come to job number 6. So job number 6 starts at what time?
45.
45.
45.
Okay, yeah. What time it ends?
56.
56.
Here what time it starts?
56.
What time
56.
it ends?
60.
60. Good. Here what
60.
time it starts?
60.
And what time
60.
it ends?
66.
66. Okay. No idle time here. And here you could see an idle time of 5 minutes.
5.
And here you can see the idle time of
4.
4 minutes. Okay. Now we'll come back to the last job, job number 7. Okay. So what time the job number 7 starts here? 56.
56.
Yeah. What time it ends?
65.
65.
65. Okay. Here what time it starts? 65.
65.
65.
67.
67.
Okay. Here it starts at 67 and it ends at 67 plus 5.
72. 72.
No idle time here. There is an idle time of 5 and here the idle time of 1. I think now we have completed all the calculations. First, let me find the total of all this. 12 plus 5, 17, 18. It becomes 22. 8, 10, 15, 20, 27, 37. And this is finish. So this is the values we have got. Now we'll quickly calculate the 3 calculations here. Which are the 3 calculations we are doing here? What is the first calculation?
T, sir. T value.
T.
Total
What
elapsed
is the T
time.
value here? Total elapsed time. What is the T value? The time at which the last job on the last machine is completed. Here it is 72. So 72 becomes your total elapsed time. Okay? Yeah. Then we are supposed to calculate the idle time of A. How do you calculate the idle time of A? What is the formula? The time at which the last job on machine C completed minus the time at which the last job on machine A completed. Okay? Which is nothing but 72 minus 65. Which how much you get?
7.
So 7 is the answer for A. Similarly, now we are supposed to calculate the idle time of B. So what is the formula for B? The time at which the last job on machine C completed minus the time at which the last job on machine B completed, Along with that, you have to add this value, table value and add one. So this becomes 72 minus 67, okay, plus 37. Okay, formula plus the total. Can you please tell me the answer, Ishwarata?
70.
Total value?
70, sir. 70. 70.
becomes your final answer. Okay, and the last value, the idle time for machine C. So what is the idle time for machine C? It is just the total of this one. Then again total from there, directly you can write down. So this becomes 22. So 22 is your idle time for machine C.
Sir, B value is 44.
Sir, B value is 40.
42, sir.
Okay. The daily answer number there. Okay. So 72 minus 67 is 5. Okay. 5 plus 37 and then 42.
42, sir.
I didn't make the total anyway. It's okay. So 42 becomes your idle time for B and 22 becomes the idle time for C. I think now you are perfect with this method, everyone. Three machine problem.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So I think now we have covered all the basic concepts of three machine problem. The only thing that is left out in this particular problem is if it is given in different orders. Say for example, if the problem is given in order like ACB or BAC or BCA, something like that, then how do we actually proceed with the question? That I'll take 1 or 2 problems tomorrow. I think with that, you will be able to understand the complete picture of three machine problem, and whichever order they're given in the exam, I think you should be comfortably able to solve it. Okay, so once it is completed, then we'll move on to the last method in this particular chapter, which is about processing n jobs through n machines, where the number of machines are also more and the number of jobs are also more. That is the last category of problem. So we will, I think we'll be able to complete it by Thursday max to max, and then we will start with the new chapter. Okay, so meanwhile, I'll also try to post some questions on 2 machine problem and 3 machine problem by tomorrow, so that you can practice some problems and you can keep it ready for the submission of assignments. Okay, is that clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Saturday, you should be submitting your assignment questions, assignment problems questions. So please keep it ready. I think by tomorrow or day after, I will share the link in Quick Learn, and you can upload your assignment problems assignment. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
I think we can end the class for the day. So we'll continue tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll keep you posted about the timings. Maybe morning. I think tomorrow is Wednesday, so we can have the class morning itself, right? As per the timetable, also your class is at 10 o'clock. So can I start the class by 9:30 and take up to 10:45? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.